Okay, we're recording.
All right. We decided to do our research project on Under Armour, ethics, and social responsibility. I'm Treasure,
And I'm Tayvion.
and we are doing this for Management 300, Section W, and we are Group 8.
This is an overview of what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to start with the overview of Under Armour as a whole. Then, what are ethics and social responsibilities? What is Under Armour doing? Why do we feel the company needs improvements? Negative news reports on Under Armour? The drawback and failures of Under Armour? Our recommendation for improvements? The conclusion? And then our references.
This is an overview of Under Armour. Under Armour is a multinational sportswear corporation, and they were founded by a former football star, Kevin Plank, in 1996 as a small performance apparel company. They design, develop, market, and distribute athletic apparel, footwear, accessories in various countries across the globe. The company's headquarters is located in Baltimore, Maryland, with distribution centers around the world, including Hong Kong, Toronto, and Amsterdam.
What are ethics and social responsibilities? Ethics are a set of moral principles and values that define right from wrong. Deviance is the unethical decisions companies commit and make the norm. Ethical intensity is how much the people around concern about these ethical issues. Social responsibility is a business's obligation to make policies and decisions that benefit the company. Ethical responsibility is the responsibility that the companies have to not violate the principles of these said companies. What is Under Armour doing? Under Armour ethical problems are vast, from the animal cruelty to the labor issues in their factories. Even though they claim to be animal cruelty free, they still use raw materials gathered from these animals, such as leather and downs. Another problem that occurs on the animal cruelty front, they sell in mainland China, where animal testing is required. There are also major allegations in the labor force, with things such as low wages, excessive hours, and bad working conditions.
Why we feel the company needs improvements. We feel that Under Armour needs to change where they have their manufacturing factories and have tighter regulations on their code of conduct for said factories. We also believe that the company needs to improve regulations on where their manufacturers are getting their supplies. Many foreign countries do not have strict regulations on how products, especially animal byproducts, are acquired. There have been allegations of animal testing, breaches of their code of conduct, and worker exploitation, as well as a reported suicide of a migrant worker that was employed by one of their suppliers due to physical and verbal abuse from a supervisor. Negative news reports on Under Armour. Under Armour has faced many negative news reports concerning a plethora of issues. One issue that was brought to light is the charges that the company received from the SEC, also known as the Securities and Exchange Commission, for misleading their investors by artificially inflating their revenue growth. The company has been criticized for its questionable expense and accounting practices. Another issue that was highly publicized was the alleged forced labor and worker abuse at a factory in Jordan that is a supplier to not only Under Armour, but other apparel giants.
The drawbacks and failures of Under Armour. They went through political scrutiny in the early parts of 2025 because of their stance on the Israeli and Palestine war. Under Armour had had other threats of boycotts and strikes, but nothing has happened to this point. If they keep going how they handle the animal cruelty, by the end of the year, there will be another boycott. Under Armour is known as for the footwear apparel game, they are more ethical than most other companies. But that doesn't stop if they don't change their ways. They will end up just like these other companies, such as Nike or Adidas. Recommendation number one. The first recommendation we have for Under Armour is to stop selling in mainland China. On May 1st, 2025, mainland China said that not all products require animal testing, and we suggest that they apply for that. If China declines the request to stop forcing them to conduct animal testing for their products, they should pull out completely. They could supplement the sales from the loss from China by increasing the prices in other places around the world, such as in the United States, in Canada, and all throughout Europe.
Recommendation number 2. Our second recommendation that we have for Under Armour is to have regular check-ins on their suppliers and their facilities. Having independent auditors check on the financial activity of each of their factories, as well as having third-party certifications to check how the workers in each factory are being treated and compensated. There was also reports of Under Armour having quote-unquote personal expenses written off as business expenses. So having independent auditors check their financial records is really crucial to ensure that they're using their business funds for business-related activities. This is a crucial step to ensure all of their facilities and are reflecting their core ethical values of the company and avoiding social and ethical misconduct.
Recommendation number 3. The third recommendation we have for Under Armour is to gather their materials in a more humane fashion. They cannot slaughter cattle for the sole reason of getting leather like they are now. They cannot slaughter geese for the sole reason of getting down. They can find cattle getting slaughtered for their meats and buy the leather from those producers, supporting these local farmers. There's already organizations such as PETA that are on Under Armour's case because how they are getting their leather. Also, the Downs is the same thing. PETA is not liking how they are killing these geese to be able to get their products. It draws more ethical dilemmas than profit from their products. They might cause the price of these manufacturings to go up, but using local producers to get the leather, it would only give the economy more money to buy their products.
Recommendation number 4. Our last recommendation that we have for Under Armour is to thoroughly consult their PR teams to determine when and what to release official statements on, especially regarding political and worldly matters. The company was under fire earlier this year for their stance on the Israeli and Palestinian conflict, or lack thereof. Under Armour never released a public statement clarifying their stance on the conflict, but the company has a handful of apparel stores operating in Israel, as well as getting supplies from Israeli companies. Our conclusion: to sum up, Under Armour's ethics have been and are in question and are under fire for not taking social responsibility for their stance on past and current worldly conflicts.
We believe that Under Armour needs to change where their products are manufactured and enforce stricter regulations on the supply chain, on especially the animal cruelty front. Taking these steps to ensure there's no more animal cruelty and that their code of conduct is heavily enforced. This will gain the company goodwill and in turn will receive less negative press regarding their ethical conduct and potentially gain praise for their responsible business conducts online and on social media. Another thing that I saw was that through selling in mainland China, it has a more effect on animal cruelty. All these things lead back to the animal cruelty front. It's testing on dogs, testing on cats is not ethical and needs to be stopped. Also on for if Under Armour wants to get animal products for their clothes, they need to have more policies in place to be able to help the animal suffering in the end.
This is very true, as well as having the outside auditors and contractors. They have to make sure that their facilities are acting ethically and getting their supplies from the right places and not necessarily slaughtering an animal just for their byproducts. They would have to fund it in a more humane fashion, especially since PETA has been on Under Armour's case for acquiring these animal byproducts in an unethical way. And by having those auditors for their financial statements, there will be less personal activities being written off as business activities and business expenses.
Here's our references. Thank you.